If you are joining me again, welcome back. And to you first-timers, welcome to the tour of movies that have messed me up in various ways. This is the movies that this is going to be a first in this series because generally the movies that I had watched were fiction or based on actual events, whereas this was actually a true story, and that intrigued me. Then I found out that it was a horror drama, so what could fuck me up? This movie is about Fritz Honka, a German serial killer who had killed 4 women back in the 1970s. The movie is called The Golden Glove, which is also the name of the bar, the dive bar, that Fritz went to. Fun fact, this bar is still open. So if I ever go to Germany, I'm probably gonna go and have a drink there. So let's talk about Fritz. This dude was ugly. I mean, he was not easy on the eyes. The actual real guy, yeah, he was not good looking either. The actor who played him, on the other hand, that's a different story. Still, the makeup work that was done on this guy to make it so hard to look at, like, it was awesome. Fritz had spent some time in a concentration camp when he was younger, experiencing some mental and physical abuses. He also, had a speech impediment. His eyes were pretty fucked up. On top of that, he became an alcoholic, which, the psychologist is not saying this is what led him to be a serial killer, but this is what led him to be a serial killer. Well, let me start with the fact that Fritz had a fear of penis mutilation. I mean, this is what he had a fear of. And because of this, he looked for women, prostitutes, who were toothless. And nothing against the actresses or these women, but they were not pretty. Them being older and toothless, honestly, listen, this is somebody's grandma. Yeah, it was kind of gross to look at. So Fritz looked for prostitutes who were toothless because he was afraid that he was going to get his dick bit off. And this is when he meets the prostitute Frida. And the movie just got a little bit all too fun fact. Actually, it's not really so much of a fun fact. My mother's name is Frida. Yeah, the movie got awkward. And Fritz, the name of the serial killer, my last name is also Fritz. So yeah, this movie got all kinds of awkwards with my mother's name and my last name. So Fritz and Frida kept getting drunk. And they drank a lot. I mean, I was drunk with the amount of alcohol that they were drinking. But speaking of alcohol, this is why you are here, for the movies that me up. I'm going to need a shot for this. The shit looked real.
What's that smell?
Well, Fritz tries to fuck Frida. He's so drunk that he suffers from drunk dick syndrome. Not that we know about that. But that's when you drink a little too much and you can't get it up. Well, Frida starts laughing at him and mocking him for it, which pisses him off. And then he decides to beat the fuck out of her. And after he beats her, he ends up passing out. Well, Frida wakes up all bruised and battered. She could have walked out the door. But no, she didn't walk out the door. No. She went to the refrigerator, and when she got into the refrigerator, I think it's herring. I'm not sure. It's fish, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna watch this movie again. But she ate and then found this spicy mustard, and she laughed at herself. Then she went over to Fritz, and she smeared some of this spicy mustard on his dick. And as he starts screaming, he gets up. She starts looking around. She kicks him in the balls. Go Frida. But Frida did not leave. No, she decides to sit down and keep drinking and keep mocking him. There was some other killings, but this one was just a little bit much, and here is why. He starts strangling her. Fritz is about half her size, so the strangulation, it's not quick. This was a little bit more different than what I had been used to. So as he's sitting there and strangling her, I then noticed that liquid starts going down her leg. I thought it was pee at first. It's not. Yeah, that's where we're going. As he's strangling her, she shit herself. You have about a minute where the camera is showing her shit-stained leg as she's thrashing about because, as I said, the strangulation was slow. it was not quick. It's not the way that we see generally in most of the horror movies that we watch. This was slow, and just watching her sitting there thrashing about with like shit on her leg. It's something I never saw in a horror movie. To see someone shit themselves, being strangled, this scene was so realistic. Like I sat there and was just like, well, shit, this is pretty fucked up.
Oh, look! The mother rhino is giving birth.
It is the most realistic strangulation I've seen in a horror movie, and I've seen a lot of horror movies that have strangulations, and this by far is the most realistic and slow strangulation I have seen. And then he cuts her up. You see, it's like, you know, like portions are all wrapped. It's like when you go to the meat market. I'm not gonna tell you like what's going on the wall, because check this movie out. It is a horror movie, and it's based on actual events. The movie itself is available to stream on AMC Plus or Shudder. Yeah, that was a whole lot. Kind of here for it, because this is what horror movies are all about. This movie's pretty fucked up. Until next time, ta-ta for now.
Erklärung. Hiermit erkläre ich gerne Post, dass ich es im Leben noch nie so gut hatte wie bei Herrn Honka. Herr Honka weiß viel besser als ich selber, was gut für mich ist, und deshalb